Welcome back to the third episode of the AM Hours podcast. I hope you're doing well. I hope your friends and your family are doing well. And this is your host, Amit Mokram. And today we're going to be talking about, is college actually worth it or not? I know that is a loaded question, but I wanted to talk about my experiences in college. I technically am still in college. I am doing my master's program, but I've completed a couple of associate degrees and a bachelor's. And I wanted to explain my sort of thought process about college as I was navigating through it. And also be giving some tips on what I thought the best things to do in college were to increase your likelihood of success. So, yeah, without any further ado, we can get started. So, is college actually worth it or not? And the answer to this question is, it has changed for me as I've gotten older. I clearly remember when I had just turned 20. I remember I was in an era of watching a bunch of like self-help gurus on YouTube, and a lot of them were just saying like, yeah, you don't need college. You can create a life that you want without college. And they were really pushing this narrative that you can get these skills that you don't need, and you can work on the skills that you can actually make money with and pursue it without college. And I really had believed in it when I first started, and I was like, this is some bullshit. Like, college is not worth it. While I was signing up and making my applications to go to college, and there was like so many other things that played into my belief, because I actually, yeah, when I was younger, I did believe that college was totally not worth it. And some of the other factors that played into account, sorry, I have my notes right here, was that, especially in Guyana, like, the thing about in Guyana specifically, a lot of people do make it without a college degree. I know my dad and I have my uncle that I live with. These guys did not go to college. Like, I'm not even sure if my dad went to high school. I think he did. But the max education they had was like high school. And they didn't go to college, but they had to figure it out. They had to see what the market required. They had to see what need they can fulfill. And they just did that. And they created a life worth living by simply just doing what the market needed. They filled a gap there. And then they made a life without a college degree. So when I used to think about this and like all the other people who I knew in Guyana and elsewhere who made it without a college degree, I was like, so you're really telling me like these guys just lived their life in general, looked at what is profitable, looked at what is needed, and they just went on that basis rather than just wasting time in a degree with 4 years where you're not really guaranteed to really be successful after it. So as I was going through those thought processes, I was like, college is really not worth it, especially when the people who are around me have made it in life without it. And I feel like a lot of people in Guyana can relate to that. And I feel like a lot of the people who are in college can relate to that as well. You can make the argument that college is not worth it is that the job market sucks right now. Like, it is horrendously hard to get a well-paying job straight out of college. And I know that, yes, when you get your degree, like, you usually start with like an entry-level position, but I know it's pretty much a meme right now, but it is very true. Like, you need so much experience when you're entering entry-level positions. I recently got hired as a personal trainer at Crunch, and this is in Manhattan. This is 34th Street, and it is a prime location, meaning that it is like sort of like a high-end tier of a gym. But before I got hired, I was applying left and right to so many different things, and I had internships. I had hours that I put towards getting a job, and it was like, bro, I'm spending so much freaking time to try and get something that is totally not guaranteed. And I was thinking to myself, this was low-key kind of like such a waste of time. But you see the difficulties right when you come out of college. But yeah, the job market is bad. Like, I have friends who are applying and they are so smart, they can't even get a fucking job, bro. Like, they're struggling to get a job. And it just kind of raises the point, like, you have the market sucks. Plus, with AI being so popular right now, that is replacing other people's jobs. Now, I don't think that, in my personal opinion, that AI is gonna come like transform in terms of taking over everyone's jobs, but like the top companies in the world, like Apple, Tesla, they started to fire, like these top companies like Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, they started to fire a lot of their human resources who used to work there because AI is doing the job for them. And you can see like if that's not a sign that you can be so replaceable, that I don't know what is, because college really teaches you to get a job, but many jobs are replaceable. You can be hired, but somebody can be you can be hired, but somebody can equally come with, more experience or something, and you can get replaced just as easy as that. So all of these kind of factors kind of like play into college not being worth it, meaning that there's so many resources available online that do help you to get skills. And if you can touch on that aspect, there are people also make the argument that you spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in school tuition, and you might not even get a job right after, compared to if you decide to take skills online and teach yourself skills online. That's much cheaper. So you have the availability of resources online. Especially if you're in Guyana, people that have made it without a college degree. You have the fact that the job market sucks and AI is really strong right now and it's coming around. And like if you look at these options, one can make a big argument that college is not worth it. But having said that, even though there's so many negatives, there are equally, if not more, a bunch of positives. Because as I've gotten older, when I was coming towards the end of my bachelor's, I sort of realized that, yeah, college, if done correctly, is 100% worth it. It is 100% worth it if done correctly. Because college is one of the few things that you can actually rely on that will increase your chances of raising your social economic status. Meaning that if you're starting at a very low level in your socioeconomic status, this is one of the most reliable ways to climb that ladder to ensure that you're in a decent standings among people in life to increase your development, increase your economic growth. That has been the oldest and one of the most reliable platforms for you to sort of level up as a person in every single category. That's why, maybe your parents are a little bit hard on you to get into college, to take it seriously, is because they know that that's the only thing that worked in their time. And sometimes you can't blame them or the older generation because they want you to do well, but they only know this way. So that's what they're trying to like instill into us. And I think that there's a statistic that shows most millionaires and billionaires actually did go to college. I would say the main thing that makes college worth it is if you can find the right market and provide value in that market. If you're in college and you choose a major or you choose a degree in which the market down the line and down in the future needs professions in this lane, you're doing the right thing. Because in this sense, you are setting yourself for the future by going into a market or going into an industry that the market needs severe help with. So for example, right now, like AI automation is huge. If you did computer science or if you did anything AI related or tech related, that's a pretty stable job industry that will be prominent in the future. And it's very prominent right now. But in college, there are, in my opinion, in college, there are a bunch of bullshit degrees. Not all degrees, in my opinion, are equal. There are some degrees that you can take that literally fucking pull money out of your pocket and you're not going to get a return on your investment. But there's other degrees that when you put the time and effort and money into it, it gives you those rewards back. It is worth the investment. The way that you become successful in college right after you graduate is literally by looking at what the market needs and providing value in forms of goods or services. because that's all you're really getting successful at. You're adding value and you are putting things into the market that are actually needed and required. You're not fucking putting bullshit out there that nobody wants. And that's how you pretty much lose out and you waste your time in college. Is if you study something and you get skills that the market doesn't need, and that your time and your skills are pretty much wasted because the market doesn't need those specific skills and assets. You need to fulfill what the market needs, not what you need. And a lot of people can kind of get that lost if you're in college. Choosing the right major to study and fulfilling needs within that market is probably the best way to be successful in college. And why I would say college is worth it. One of the other reasons why I think college is worth it is that you meet so many like-minded people. For example, I did nutrition and exercise sciences, and I became really good friends with people within this degree or within this degree program because we all have like similar interests of nutrition, of health, of the gym, of bettering each other, well, of bettering one another, like physically, independently, emotionally. Like we all have those similar interests. So it is easier naturally for us to come up with ideas within this industry, to brainstorm different things that we never would have thought about individually. It's great because you can sort of pull ideas from people and you can give ideas. So you could sort of pull ideas from people and then you could give ideas to people. But when you have like this feedback loop of people who are interested in the same thing, this dopamine rush can kind of happen where you're both on the same wavelength of interest, and when you're talking about it passionately and you're actually trying to discuss things within this industry that you can contribute to, you would be surprised at the things that you can come up with. And this is why becoming good friends with the people who you're in your major with is so critical, because you share similar dreams and aspirations. And then you could get you can get different ideas from people within this industry. You could kind of be like, hey, I never really thought about that. This might be a really good thing for me to think about going down the line of this set path or degree. So that is my opinion. College is worth it if done correctly. However, there is another caveat. I do not think that college alone will get you to where you want to go. Graduating from college, for me, is not the final step. It's more so a milestone of something that you achieve, but there is something else that you can get. And I don't think college is the way to get there. For me, I know what I want. And I really want financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And I don't think everything that college has taught me can prepare me for that type of lifestyle. I think you need to be a business owner or entrepreneur and have your own business and provide your own products and services. Because in my opinion, I believe that you can get to where you want to be more efficiently that way, rather than being an employee having a job. But that's just me. That's what college kind of teaches you to do, to be a worker, to be in the workforce. And nothing is wrong with that. But I think, again, in my opinion, the best way to kind of get the life that you want is to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, to have and chase the type of lifestyle that you actually want, to sell products and services, whatever you want. But I don't think college is the thing that is going to take you there. It is very helpful, and at the end of the day, if done correctly, this is the thing, if done correctly, you're gaining a lot of skills that will translate into the real world where you can actually try to get to where you want to be. But I still don't think that it is the pinnacle of skill set that you will get just by being in college. Now, if you are still in college, I wanted to tell you some of the things that you can do to be as successful as you can possibly be. These are some of the most important things that you can do in college to increase your likelihood of success. Number one, networking. Please go to any type of networking event that your school is hosting, especially if it's in your degree or major. When you go to networking events, it's basically like a chill gathering to meet new people. This is where you're introducing yourself, you're talking about your interests, you're meeting people who are you're meeting people who are in similar degree path as you. And then again, you get that feedback loop of bouncing off really good ideas, which can be really great if you're trying to make new friends and also get a brighter or deeper insight into the path that you really want to be in. Any type of networking or social events, please go to those. Number two, join a club while in college. Whether it's a sports club, a chess club, a freaking reading club, have a community that you can be involved within. Many of these clubs are still looking for people to be like their secretary, their president. And then if you're involved within that community, in terms of, getting a job and things like that, saying that you were in a club, and then even saying that you helped to like be the treasurer, or you were the vice president, or you were the president of this club, that is really good on your resume. Again, if you really wanted to take advantage of the most things you can get out of college, being involved in clubs is one of them. Next up, number 3, internships. Internships are probably the best thing when it comes to getting your foot in the door for having a job. College is a great, one of the best things that college utilizes is helping you to get internships. My specific school, they had many academic advisors that actually did help you to set up your resume, to build it, and actually go out to set up for applying for internships. When I had graduated from my bachelor's, I remember the people who I worked with, they reached out to me after I graduated, asking me if I wanted to work there. And again, it's because you got the network, you've gained the connections, and you can be able to take advantage of the work that you put in before. But if you graduate without doing any type of internship, it's really hard, or I should say it's much harder to get a job by finding it yourself. But if you prior did the work of being involved with the agency, being involved with the company, working for them, even if it was for free, when you're done, when you want to get a job and these people have experience with you, you have a better opportunity of getting hired, which is one of the best things that doing an internship can do for you. Number 4, you need to have really good relationships with your professors. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like, hear me out real quick. If you have really good professional relationships with your professors, that can actually go a very long way, because there are many jobs when you're going to need references, people to pull from, and your professors might be the chance of you getting that job or not. There's been many occasions where I've had to include references, professors, people who are in my life that I can have who I can have the company that I'm trying to work for reach out to them. And then if you have really good connections with your professors, by the time that this company who you want to work with calls them, your professors are going to most likely talk very highly of you. And you don't have to do that much. Just go to class, be friendly, ask really good questions, take some interest in what the professor is doing or what their life looks like. And it kind of just leads into the factor of just being a really good person. And then once you care about them, they will care about you when you want to actually go into the workforce. The next thing you want to do is actually push yourself in college. I remember that there was a situation where I had almost failed a class, and I went to every single class, I did every single assignment, but I was sort of lazy to redo the tests, because whenever we had tests, you can choose to redo them. And then I had gotten like 75s and 80s in these tests when I did it on the first attempt. I was like, me ain't gotta do nothing else. Like, I really could not give a shit. And not giving a shit ended me up in a position where I almost was not going to graduate on time because I didn't complete a class. And I remember that I kept emailing my professor and asking her, like, hey, is there anything we can do to help me change my grade? I'm willing to do extra assignments even though the end of the semester is here. She was like, no, I don't think there's anything you can do. You're probably just going to have to retake the course. And I was like, fuck, like, I don't want to take another semester in school and waste an entire, like, semester. Like, that's not me. And then I remembered I have to try. So I actually, while I was in school, I went physically into her office, waiting for her for probably about an hour. And then she finally shows up. And then she was like, you probably want to talk about your grade. And I was like, yes, please. Is there anything that we can do? Any type of homework assignment, please? I am desperate to pass because I don't want to retake this next semester. And then long story short, we worked it out. And then I was able to redo an assignment that helped me get a B in the class to pass. So you really got to push for yourself in college. Push as hard as you can, because you never know. Like, literally, a couple marks is going to keep you shy of where you want to be. The next thing, your college might actually give you free resources. I know for mine, they gave out free condoms. Shout out to Queens College. A lot of schools, they actually give out like the free like Metro cards to students so that they can like ride the subways for free, which is pretty nice. Your school probably will have like different types of programs and things to help the success for the students. So really look into your college to see like what they provide for free for the students. The next thing I will say is that in college, your GPA does not matter as much as you think it does. I'm sorry to everyone who has a fucking 4.0, but it doesn't really matter that much. Out of the hundreds of interviews that I've been on, not one of them, not one recruiter has ever asked me what my fucking GPA was. I would say prioritize understanding the material than your goddamn GPA. Now, the only thing that having a high GPA is worth it is when you want to apply for like grants and financial loans. Because I was in college and I was able to get like a lot of financial aid and grants through having a high GPA. But other than that, it is really highly overrated. I've never been in any interview when they've asked me for what my GPA is. Focus on actually learning the fucking material than the freaking number that comes with it. Because all you get from having a 4.0, and there's nothing wrong with like having a high GPA. But I'm just saying the only thing that you really get out of it is being like cum laude when you graduate on the freaking paper, and you might get really good financial grants and financial aid when you have a high GPA. But other than that, it's just like a social status type of thing to say like I have a really high GPA. But in real life, being honest, it doesn't fucking matter. It really does not. But yeah, so that is basically my opinion again, and I think that college done right can be worth it, but I do not think that it will prepare you for everything that you need to do to be successful in this life. I do think that you need to be proactive, and I do think that you need to do things on your own, like start your own business, run your own company, be an entrepreneur, sell products, sell services. You will get these skills that will actually teach you a lot about business and how to run your own things. But again, college is great. I think that it gives you a lot of skill sets if done correctly, but I personally don't believe that it alone will take you to where you want to be. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the AM Hours. I've talked a lot. My throat is really dry, but I just wanted to say I hope you guys have a great day. Hope your friends and your family are doing well. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next week for episode 4 of the AMRS podcast. This is your host, Ahmed Makram, saying peace. Later.